Morning guys, Scott from SE Landscaping here again, and it is 10 to 8 and it's still quite dark. We're getting very little daylight hours at the moment, as you'll all realise. Most of my watches are in the trade, so I'm off to a cemetery, what we've done previous. I'll get you some footage when we get there and a bit of footage of what we're going to be using today. So this is the site, one of the cemeteries we maintain again. These shrubs will just get a light trim, and then you may remember these hedges. We did these, was it July or August? These were the hedges we reduced last year to thicken up the bottoms, but as you can see there's still one or two dips, so little bits down here like these where it's very sparse and it's just starting to thicken up at the bottom. We'll sort of leave this bit just to thicken out and level up. And then the same again, both sides of the path. And the same with this one, we'll leave the side here just to try and get it to gap up a bit. Might have to put some in because it's a big gap. As you can see on the ground, very frosty, path's a bit slippy as well. And then once we come down, what we've got is a tree belt, bit of protection from the wind, but they just need facing off back to the graves, and possibly a bit of overhang, a couple of branches off. And the same there, just a light trim really. Weapons of choice today, we've come at it with the timber wolf again. Like I say, no waste to take away today, everything will get chipped into the hedge backs. And then as we open up, we've got our long reach hedge cutter, just find its own way. We have got our Hendon ladders, little platform, and then basically the whole Stihl kit in this van, apart from a small chainsaw which I always carry, 171, is on the battery today, so everything's battery use. So stay tuned and we shall get you some footage. Shout out to Chris, the country cottage gardener. You'll appreciate what I'm doing here with the coat off, even though it's frosty. just going to shape this up, this hedge up, well, face it off as far as we can go, and we're going to use our HLA 85. This has got an extendable bar on, so basically although I've got ladders, you're not going to need them because it's going to get right to the top of this hedge, and it's also got the adjustable head, so it'll run off the same battery pack that everything else does, so stay tuned. So as you can see, there's a couple of branches up the top there that's just overhanging a bit low, so we're just going to snip them off, and for that we will use HLA 85, HTA 85 chainsaw. So all you do is, you've still got the battery on your back, you take the cassette out of the other machine, which I'll go and get now, into there, or you can put the cassette in first, whichever you wish. Cassette in there, and ready to go. That's pretty much it, guys. Face the hedge off back to last year, and just any low branches that's going to by next year come down and be sort of heavy and laying over the path. Obviously we still want to keep the balance where the trees are, so just to clean up now and get the chipper started for this bit. Got another bit to do over there, but we'll do a bit of clean up first. So as you're probably aware, the Timberwolf is a chipper, not a shredder. So what you have to do is, although we've got a pile of prunings in there off the hedge, which is very fine stuff, all the privet, so there's not really anything to it, we alternate. So the branches we just took off the tree, we'll put one of those through, and then a bit of fine stuff through, and alternate it, and we're just going to fire it into this hedge back to keep the weeds down. That's what I mean, you have to alternate the fine with the thick stuff, but it all goes through eventually and just shreds up to half my stray bag that's gone through there, which will have to be picked up, but it has just gone to nothing, so just rake that about. just short of 4 hours there, guys. So pruned the laurels and the privet, bit of cornice, tidied these up. There's a little bit of work to do on the trees, but that's not today. Berberis, a bit of spotted laurel there, a Cuba, and then on to snowberries, also known as Symphoricarpus. For anybody who does the Latin names, they get little white balls on, and there you go, a little white ball. These have struggled this year. These ones, they haven't greened up as much. They had a bad year a couple of years ago, so they're just recovering, but I'm fairly happy that they will come back. And then over to the work that you looked at earlier, which is the hedges. As you can see, I think I said last time there was areas of this hedge that needed to fill out, and it is, with reducing the top, it is filling out. There's 1 or 2 dips here and there, but gradually we're getting rid of the dips. I'm fairly confident by next year this will be a full-flown hedge. But if you look at our previous video, there was a huge dip here in July, so it's just filling up. Rather than taking the top off it, you just let that bit grow and just stand back as you're pruning, and eventually you'll get a line. It's the same here. There was a big gap here and it's slowly filling out, and the sides are filling out, and that's all by just reducing the top. So by reducing the top like we did a couple of years ago, the growth goes to the side. So all this has been faced off, and the top there, obviously the large tree branches at the top, but anything that would come down here and hit people on the head in a year's time or 9 months time has been snipped off. So it's up to the council if they want to do any more up there. And back up to the hedges, same again, we've left little gaps where they're just trying to thicken up. See how sparse it is there, where you can see right through it. And as you get here, it's a full hedge. So what the aim is, I'll turn you around, is you can see from here how it cuts in. The plan is once that thickens up, that hedge will be a straight line, and it will be uniform. But like I say, it takes years and years to get these privet hedges back after they've had some extreme work done to them. So that's it, guys. 4 hours of work and another job done and ticked off. Another morning out the way. You'll have seen some people think I've done quite a lot of work there in the morning. Others will probably think that it's about right, but clashed on there. I just prefer just to get on it really and get the job done. Like you've seen, no waste to take away. Just chipped back into the bottom of that hedge and just levelled out. So same again, I've reduced my outgoings, and it's eaten into a bit more of paying for the chipper. Every time you prune something like that and leave it on site, you're paying for the outlay that you forked out for the chipper. And like I say, it's not you're not having to run around with the tip and waste valuable time. So that's another job for us ticked off for the winter now. The only other thing we've got to do in there is go in with our moss brush, which I'm going to get some footage on over the next few months. The moss brush will clean the footpaths and sort of edge them back. So we'll get some footage of that, a couple of videos just based on that machine, because it's a really good product that I purchased. But just coming back to the contract work in there, people will be wondering how I price that cemetery. Obviously, if that was on an hourly rate, then I need to slow down. Well, because I'd have made like very little, just doing them hedges. So basically how I price that cemetery is there's 14 cuts of the grass unless the council want any more, and then there's a little box in the bottom that says if they want some more cuts they can be put in at the same rate. So I price it as a package: 14 cuts of grass, edge the paths, trees and shrubs like we've done twice a year. I'm trying to think, a bit of weed killing. Some of the gravel graves get weeds on, and a bit of mare's tail, so we have to treat the weeds with Roundup and the mare's tail with a product called Curtail, which controls the mare's tail. So what I tend to do is I'll go and look at the job, I'll go and look at that cemetery. I know that we need in there a 48-inch machine to be the most productive machine. So, and I know I can get, looking at it, 95%, apart from a couple of areas that are landlocked with these concrete graves, which you would either strim or you would get a small mower, but we usually strim them. So I'm looking at the cemetery, I'm working out how long it's going to take. I know how many square meters it is, and I know how many square meters around obstacles I cut with my 48-inch mower. So that cemetery there takes 2 hours to cut with a 48-inch mower. So you've got your 2 hours, but you've also got a man who takes 2 hours to strim, and then around half an hour, say, to blow tidy up afterwards. A little bit allowed for contingencies. So per visit, you've got how many hours it takes to do that. Then you come to your hedges and your shrubs, and it's the same again. You work out, you pretty much know in your mind how much I can do. Now, how I do this is when I'm pricing it out for my guys, if I think that a hedge takes an hour, I always add 50% on. And basically what that is I would expect if I do it in an hour, I would know that my lads will probably do it in an hour and a half. And why I say that is because as business owners, anybody who's watching this will be able to resonate with this, that nobody will work as hard as you. No matter what they say to you when they come for the interview about how amazing they are, no one will work as hard as you. So that's how I price jobs, so that if I go on holiday, I'm still earning the same sort of money, and we're not lagging behind and stuff, and I'm not basing stuff on my rates. So that's how I price the jobs. So once you've worked out, same again, how many hedges and stuff in there you think you can cut in an hour, add it all up. Same with the weed killing. You know that the weed killing's only going to take 20 minutes, and you're going to have to do that 3 times a year, and the edging's going to take probably half a day with the machine. So you factor all that together, and you've got your hourly rate, what you charge per man, including his fuel and everything. So you've got a set figure there, and then you times it by 14 for how many visits, or for times it by 2 or 3 or 4 for the hedging, and so on and so on. And then at the bottom there'll be an extra bit which says like remedial work. So if a tree falls down that's not in your contract, although we carry out basic clipping of branches and things, if a tree falls down, then you've got to go out and price the job. So we tend to put in sort of an hourly rate based on emergency works as well, which you might get called out to do, or there could be all manners of things. It could be fencing comes down, or just basic things really. So you factor that in as well, and that gives you your figure, and then you've got your price to put to the client after that, and hopefully based on previous experience you win the job with a bit of luck. So you've got to look at what equipment you want, what equipment you're planning on buying and things, and you've got to factor all that in, because you've got to make a profit, you've got to pay a wage that you want, and you've also got to pay your lads, your insurance, your petrol and everything else. So your hourly rate, it's a fine line between winning a job and losing a job, but you've got to make sure you're making enough money, making enough profit to expand your business, if that's your aim. So you need to take all that into account. But what I tend to do at the start of each financial year, sort of April, is I'll sit down and I know all my costings, I know everything that's going out, and by then I've usually got all my contracts tied up. And basically, so say your outgoings are for a better word, £100,000, and I know I've got £200,000 of orders, plus there's a little box at the bottom I'll have, which will be what I'm expecting in over the course of the year in small jobs, extra works and things, which could be 50k. So you've got your 250k, you've got your 100k going out, you've got to take tax off your 250k, but then you've got a figure there once you've paid everything that you can either put in the bank and keep in the bank, or you can invest that money back in the businesses, which is what I tend to do, which is how I fund my products at the end of the year. I pretty much know how much I'm going to make, and as of today, which is the 1st of December, I've already got in my mind a plan for 2 machines next year, so, and I know I can fund them. So that's how I go about working and running sort of that side of the business. Yes, there's always miscellaneous things you'll need, like a new strimmer or things, but they're what I call small purchases. It's the sort of 30 grand machines that I have in mind, or last year was the chipper and the weed brush and a few other things. So the Ferris, that was a purchase that came after a demo. I didn't plan on buying it last year, but we had that much extra work and we've been that busy this year that there was a bit more cash there to spend, so I thought, why not get it? And then it's not something I had to buy this year. And same with the excavator that's just arrived, that was the same again. We've had that good a year this year that I was able to finance an excavator, which I'll be doing a video on in the next couple of weeks. So I hope what I've said to you guys there makes sense, and I hope it's helpful. And like I say on every video, if you've got any questions or you need any help with anything, just drop me a line. And thanks for watching, guys. See you on the next one.